Hey, you guys, I want to give a word that the Lord just showed me, and I want to share it. And it's coming out of Joshua chapter 23, verse 13. Yeah, 12 and 13. And it says, else if you do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, means sleeping and having sex, know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your side, and thorns in your eyes, until you perish from off this good land which the Lord your God have given you. God is saying here, many of you are in marriages right now that are not God ordained. You're in relationships right now with a man or a woman that are not God ordained. And I've been there. So I'm not saying I ain't been there. I have. But the Lord's saying is that you're married to your enemy. He's saying you're married to your enemy because it's not who God has ordained for you to be with. But the Lord says that that every day you wake up, that there will be a snare to you, a trap unto you, a scourge. A scourge is a whip unto you. Every single day you wake up and you're miserable in your relationship. You're miserable in your marriage because it's not a godly ordained. Because if it's of God, then that person would be for God, for one. What is God? Love, peace, meekness, joy, gentleness. You got to think of everything that God is. This is what God is. You will be able to talk to one another. You will be able to work things out. A godly relationship where things are working out for the better, where you can talk to your mate. You can talk to that person. Now, I'm not saying every day is a good day, but the Lord said that when you are married or in a relationship with somebody that is not a God-ordained relationship or a God-ordained marriage, that every day that marriage is a snare to you. Every day that marriage is trapped to you. Every day, he says, and thorns in your eyes. Every day you wake up, that man or that woman is a thorn into your eye. And God said, because you have chose your way, you have chose what you want to do, and you have chose the person that is not who God has for you. And when we get outside of God's will, this is what comes upon us. We don't have a good relationship with a man or woman where in our mind we think, oh, I'm going to fall in love and it's going to be this and that. And you can't have that because you choose this person. You don't ask God, is this who I should be with? God, is this or that, And I made that mistake. I didn't ask God, is this who I should be with? God, is this or that? I've been there. So, I'm not saying I haven't. But the Lord is saying today, as he give me this word, he says, many of you are miserable in your marriage because you chose somebody out of God's plan for you. You got to ask God, Lord, is this the person for me? Lord, show me who you have for me. Lead me to who you have for me. But he says, because you chose your way and not his way, you chose your will and not God's will. He says your marriage is miserable and bitter. Your relationship with that man every day, whether you try to make it work, whether you take and say it's your fault, he says that every single day they will be thorns in your eyes. Every day you see them, they're thorns in your eyes, and you wish I would have never got with them. I wish I would have did this. I wish every day you look at them, they're thorns in your eyes. They're traps unto you. You have married your enemy. You have gotten a relationship with your enemy. Someone who is not your equal. He says they are snares unto you. This is what the Lord says. Y'all, we have to get back into doing godly marriages, godly relationships, where if you are in the Lord, then they should be in the Lord. But most important of all, you have to ask God, who is your mate? Who is your mate? Who do you have for me, Lord? Not what you think or what I think or what they think, but it's what God says. Because, see, we mess up trying to do things our way and what we think, and we go by our heart. No, God says our heart is wicked. It has been from the beginning. He says man's heart has been wicked from the beginning. So we can't say, oh, follow my heart. It's not follow my heart. It's what do you say, God? Show me who you have for me. Lead me to you, who you have for me. Because this right here in Joshua chapter 23 is telling us that God has already ordained a husband or a wife for us. God has already ordained them for us. He already has made them for us. Or he's making them, he's doing it. But then we go outside of what God has already had for us. And then we go through so many bad relationships, so many heartaches, so many brokenness, and we're hurt. And by the time you do probably finally, meet somebody, you don't know if that's the one because your heart is bitter and you've been rejected and you've been hurt and all these things you've been through and you don't trust anybody because you have chosen who you wanted. And not once have you asked God, is this the person for me? Not once have you asked God, Lord, is this who you want for me? God, lead me to it. Let them lead to me. Who is it, God? Or you ask God, Lord, bless me with a husband. Bless me with a good man that's of God. Not once do we do that. Maybe after you go through so many bad relationships and then you're like, Lord, lead me. But, a lot of times all that could have been avoided have we just seek God. But the Lord is saying today, you guys, that a lot of you guys are going through horrible marriages, horrible relationships, that there are thorns in your eyes. Every time you look at that man or you look at that woman, they're an eyesore to you. They're a thorn to you. Why? Because you're with the wrong person. You're not with who God has ordained you to be with. They're traps. God said they're traps to you. He said being with the wrong person, this is his word. He said, but they shall be. God said they shall be. They shall be a trap to you. They shall be a snare to you. They are traps unto you and scourges in your side. Every time you see them, there's scourges in your sides and thorns in your eyes. This is what the Lord says they are to you. Why? Because you went by what you wanted and not what God ordained for y'all. Let this word bless you today. Let wisdom be given to you today. That if you're looking for a relationship, if you're wanting to get married or, get in a relationship, ask God to send your way the man or the woman that he has for you and wait on what God has. That's the thing is we get impatient. We're impatient because we want it now. But the thing is, and this is what God is teaching me, is God has to teach you how to be a good woman or a good man. He has to teach you to be a good husband. So when you do get the right woman or man, you know how to treat them. You know how to do them. And y'all can be on one accord. We have to learn how to treat one another because when you've been in a lot of relationships and you've been abused and neglected by a person, that wears down on you. And then, a lot of people jump relationship to relationship and they're hurt from the last 5 relationships they've been in and they've never healed. So how can they treat you good if they've never healed? How can they treat you like you're supposed to be treated if they never healed from the pain of the past? So God has to mold us so we can be godly wives. We can be virtuous women to our wives. We are to be virtuous women, not loose women, not whorish women, but to be virtuous women, and that we can treat a godly man how he's supposed to be treated. And it's back and forth giving, not just one way, but back and forth. So let this word bless you guys today that the Lord has given me as I was reading today. And it blew my mind. I prayed for, those who are in relationships like that, that God will lead you in the right direction. Y'all have a blessed day.